welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan if you're new here, and if you're returning, thank you guys so much for tuning in with me. First and foremost, I want to apologize. I am sick. I have a sinus infection or a cold. Don't know. My daughter was sick, and you know the privilege of being a parent is you also get sick. So bear with me through this video. Not having a good time. I'm sick. I'm 9 months pregnant at this point and I'm over it. But as you guys can tell by the title, we are going to be going over some baby names that we liked or loved and didn't end up going with and why. I always think these videos are fun because maybe it'll help somebody else come up with a different name or just have a fun understanding as to why the heck we didn't go with what we wanted to. So if you're interested or you care, definitely stay tuned to the end of the video. I'm excited to kind of go through these and hopefully it can help somebody out that maybe come up with different names. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So as you guys know, we did not find out what we were having the entire pregnancy. We did not want to know what we were having. We wanted it to be a surprise. So I'm kind of just going to go through names in general because we picked out boy and girl names. So the two top names that we came up with for a boy and a girl. So as you guys know, I am Brazilian American, so I really wanted a Portuguese name. And I love the way that the names sound when they have like an E-I at the end. So the name that we originally came up with was Iliani, and I absolutely love that name. I still love that name. And that was pretty much our girl name until like 7-8 months. We were sold on Iliani. But then it just kind of got to be a mouthful. My daughter, her name is already Abriella, and it's kind of a long name. And so we were okay with having a long name, but I don't know, for this baby, it just didn't feel right to have such a long, it was just a mouthful. It was a lot of letters, okay? So we ended up steering away from Iliani, unfortunately. And then we ended up, I still wanted to keep like that E sound at the end, so we came up with Leani, which is a lot less words, and we really, really like that name. So that is going to be, or it will be, again, I'm pre-recording these videos, but the middle name for our baby girl, if it is a girl, it's going to be Leani. So we did keep that. Some of the other names that we really liked for our girl were Sage, but then I started seeing a lot of Sages. It feels like every time like you think it's different, then you start seeing it. I just liked how earthy it sounded. You guys know I'm kind of a tree hugger, so it was a pretty name to me. But then again, I started seeing it got kind of popular and was getting picked up, so I didn't want to do Sage. I also really liked the name Journey. That was like a really good gender neutral name, but it then just kind of reminded us too much of Journey and Don't Stop Believing and all that fun stuff. And then actually one of my friends ended up naming his daughter Journey, and just knowing him and his wife's story, it made a lot more sense. And I was like, okay, that's y'all's, that's your name, so stick with Journey, and there you go. Okay, for a boy, the number one name that we went with, again, we were really sold to this name until about 7 or 8 months, but I ruined this, was Maxim. So M-A-K-S-I-M, and it could be Max, M-A-X-S-I-M, however you want to spell it, but we really, really liked the name Maxim. It was completely different, and I still really enjoy the name, so we are going to use Maxim as a middle name for the baby if it's a boy. But the only reason that I just could not use that name is because like my first daughter, her name is Abriella, but I always call her Aubrey. So when I'm thinking of a baby's name, it either has to be really short or have a really easy nickname, I guess, that rolls off the tongue, if that makes sense. And so the first thing that came to my mind is Max. Everybody's gonna call him Max, M-A-K-S. And I was like, that sounds like a dog. I don't like that at all. Or they would call him Mac, and I know somebody who goes by a nickname Mac, so yeah, it was just not okay for me. But Dad really, really likes that name, so we're just gonna keep it as a middle name. My daughter kind of got used to that name as well, so it's gonna be Maxim for the middle name. I personally always said if I had another baby and it was a boy, I really wanted it to be named Jacoby. I love that name. I think it's really different, but he knew somebody named Jacoby, so, I don't like anything that reminds me of anybody else or their kids. I want something completely different. I was really proud and happy that my first daughter's name, I've never heard of it. I've heard of different Abrielle and Aubriella and like different versions of it, but not Abriella. And so I wanted the same for this baby. So Jacoby was off the list. I really also liked Luca, but that movie came out with the Little Mermaids, and I think that it's going to become a trendy, popular name, so we stayed away from Luca. I also really liked the name Muse and Soul. I loved those names. I thought they were very different. I thought they were very strong names, maybe for a middle name, but we ultimately just decided to keep Maxim. Okay, so we also, well, I liked the name Marston. We really wanted to do a space theme, as you guys can see, by obvious reasons, we both like space. So I really liked the name Marston, but I have an old coworker whose son's name is Marston, so that kind of just, I couldn't do it. So I stayed away from Marston. We also really liked Malachi for a boy, but I felt that that was a little bit too popular too, so stayed away from that. And then for a girl, I think the other two that we came up with was Anomi, and that's a very Portuguese word and name, and I really liked that name, but I was like, what are we gonna call her? Anome, I don't know. So I didn't like that. And then I really liked Emery as well. I still really, really like that name. I think it's a very pretty name. But unfortunately, my mom said she knew a coworker who was kind of a pervert named Emery, and so I couldn't get that out of my head, and I didn't want her to think about that every time she thought about her grandkids, so that was kind of off the table as well. So ultimately, as you guys know, we came up with the name Aven, A-V-E-N, and I absolutely love the name. There are so many funny connecting reasons as to why the name made sense. That's a whole other story for another day, so we could kind of talk about that if you guys care. But we really liked that name, and it ended up being the name that my little sister picked, and my little sister also picked Abriella. She found that name, so she's 2 for 2. I really like that Aven was short and that they're going to have a longer middle name, because my daughter's first name is really long and her middle name is short, so they're kind of just swapped. But Aven will either be Aven Maxim if it's a boy, or Aven Leani if it's a girl, and I think they work pretty well. Aven is also super nature, so other than some of the funnier things that connect to that name, it is a wildflower, and I thought that was pretty, and they can come in all different colors and shades, and I love it. And then I was actually really happy with the fact that I have 2 A names, so Abriella and Aven, because now like all my jewelry and stuff, I won't need to start over, or if I get a tattoo of an A on me or for any reason somewhere, then it's like for both kids. So it made it a lot easier than just having to start over with certain stuff. I know that's silly, but that was kind of exciting. So yeah, that's the name we ultimately went with. Those are the names that we loved or liked and then decided to stay away from, and some of the reasons why. But let me know if you guys like those names, if you have a child named that name. Did you find that became more popular after you named your baby that name? And any other name suggestions that you also may have liked or are thinking for your next child. That's pretty much it for this video. Quick and easy one, but I just wanted to kind of put that out there again. I think they're fun. I just think they're funny to kind of go over and see some of the crazy reasons that your mind tells you probably shouldn't name your baby that, because I feel like some of the reasons were a little weird and crazy. But I like to be different when it comes to names. I do not like common names. I wanted something that was not on the charts, that's not like trendy, or that may be trendy because of a character, or whatever the case is. So I'm happy with the name. We really, really like the name. Again, there's so many reasons that it works for our family and for this baby. But it's a perfect name, and I'm glad that we kept the other names that we really love, just made it into a middle name instead. Thank you guys for watching. I love you so much, and I will see you on the next video.